I mean, ideas I want to spitball and go with you, but yeah, record and but then okay, can we define on a fixed time?
Well, now's the time. So it's going and check.
Do you have huh?
How are you doing?
Fine. Do you have a clock telling you the ongoing time?
No, it's fine.
Because we can.
Don't worry about stuff like that for now.
That's true. That's true. I'm gonna set a timer anyway on my watch. Just because I can ramble and sometimes it's difficult to keep track. Follow me, and then people lose interest, and then it's anyway. You look lovely. You are showered and ready to take on the day.
I've set up my flag behind me. I actually like to show you that I'm very prepared for all the dark forces that might be around us right now with my feathers and my singing bowl.
I love that sound. That's such a... What's that thing called?
A Tibetan singing bowl.
A Tibetan?
Singing bowl. It's used for healing. Resonates a frequency that kind of can just relax you, and it does some internal healing. The different frequencies work with different chakras.
It's weird. It's crazy. It's like a
in my bedside drawer, I've got like incense and candles, and I've got like the sage bomb, which you can burn. So I don't have any dark forces or dark energy around me.
Okay, I'm just gonna be to give you my response with a roll of the eyes. No, I'm kidding. I love all that sort of like.
Okay.
Back to the feather thing.
My eyes have been opened.
Oh, yeah. I had a good line. He's like, "Don't forget your sunglasses. The future's looking bright." Okay. Quick thing. Your group of what look like peacock eye feathers. Yes.
Yeah.
How many have you got in that little bouquet?
No, I don't know. There must be about 10 here.
Are they all from the same animal, or they've been collected over a period of time, or?
They're from a farm. Maybe they're from a few different. They're from a few different birds, I would expect.
Okay. And you've collected those. You've acquired those over a period.
I used to use them when I was setting up healing and meditation sanctuaries at festivals here in the Western Cape. So they're part of my they're part of my festival setup.
Because yeah, I've always I mean, feathers are one thing, but those eye feathers are, besides being beautiful,
they are quite beautiful.
Nothing special about them. They're so long and you know, and there's this distinct eye at the top of it, and
like the one on my neck here that not many people get to see anymore.
Well, you know what you should do? You take the end of it as an idea and like put it into one of your hair, or maybe have a necklace or something, or I don't know.
Braid it in.
Is that a bit sort of okay. So how's this for what delayed me coming online now? I had to send the guy a video. Were you on Greg's 21-day abandon thing? No, because then I created my group and you. Okay, so before Greg Hilliard assigned me to his group, or like, and it was off. Like for me, it was like a surprise phone one day. What's this? And it was the first opening text, the long text, which was copy and pasted. Exactly the same format that I assigned you and a few of the other buddies, right? Talking about this Deepak Chopra 21-day challenge. Anyway, there was one that ended ages ago, but there was one guy on that group who I don't know, but I vaguely recognized his profile picture, strangely enough. He just sent, there was the day 21 task, the very last day, the task was give your feedback, give an overview of yourself, and, you know, and be creative and blah fucking blah, right? And then here it is now, this morning, but a beautiful, I mean, I don't know if I can read it to you, or, but he basically, yeah, that's what you and I are representing, what we do with each other, and like, we related he talked openly about a couple of very distinct, you know, how do you say it? They're distinct markers in his path, upbringing years of, like, you know, of being adopted and having adopted kids, and
okay, hold on a moment here. You're going into something quite intense, and I want to go through an introduction here a little bit, okay?
Yes.
I want you to not also move forward too much towards the camera, okay? I'm hearing a little bit of, or I'm seeing a little bit of static when it comes to your camera, so a bit of stop-starting, and I don't know if you're experiencing the same thing, so I just need to make sure that our connection is good. And then don't move forward and back the whole time, okay?
Okay.
I can see you perfectly well, and the volume is also perfect. So I think we want to tell the people that are going to be watching this about our idea and how you and I have been talking over the last few weeks since you started the Abundance 21-day challenge. And I didn't necessarily get involved in every day and responding and participating, but there were important messages that came through with that, okay? And that's given you and I an opportunity to connect with each other on a level where we're resonating about truth, about light, about how spirit is synchronizing and sending messages to us, and about how we want to share that with as many people as we possibly can. So we're going to be discussing very relevant topics, things that can help us to integrate into potentially a new way that we're going to be experiencing this world in the next month or so, because I believe by the end of April, everything is going to start settling down. We're going to get a lot more clarity coming out from places like America and our governments, who what I understand is there's a deep state or a Illuminati or a 1% of the 1% of the rich out there that are trying to control the rest of the world. And what we want to do is bring something back home. We want to bring stuff back onto the ground. We want to ground people. We want people to see that the reality is there's only so much we can do here, okay? What we can do here is to unite with one another, to keep sharing with each other on platforms like this, inspiring each other and bringing some really, really real stuff into the fore. So before we get involved in stuff that's really heavy, let's lighten the mood a little bit, and let's thank and have gratitude for all the blessings that we have. Let's also consider all the people that are working in the forces around us and empower ourselves.
I know. Thank you. That is beautiful. You are the leader, our leader. Yes, I couldn't have self. Like let's make the focus. Let's make the focus on. Okay. Make the focus. Let's make the focus on. Like there's so much we can talk about. But let's make the focus on, you know, positive things and things. For me, I think it's like, for me, the most paramount thing is trying to, I mean, it might be as slow as one time, but raising the awareness of people around us, or anyone who's listening. Like I'm slowly being torn apart in my mind. Even my friends that I get messages from through my phone, their awareness is still very, you know, and it's not their fault. Being gay,
we've just been overloaded. We've been so overloaded with information that it is becoming exhausting for our brains. And we have to take a step back from what we're ingesting, okay, through videos, WhatsApp, voice notes, stuff that is just going to be consistently and constantly coming in now. We have to program and get ourselves into a routine where we're going to say, right, I'm going to watch, or I'm going to listen to half an hour of that, and I'm going to spend just as much time reflecting on that, or meditating, and actually getting all of that rubbish out of the brain again, so that you can start resonating with your own truth. And messages from spirit, they're going to start coming through now, because we're in our own safe sanctuary environments that we've created for ourselves. We're with our families, and in this seclusion or this isolation that we're creating for ourselves is an opportunity for us to do this kind of thing, to actually connect on a much deeper level with spirit and listen to what our own truth is. And that truth might differ for every person. Every person has a purpose. It's an individual purpose. And those messages are going to be unique for each one of us,
Well said. Okay, so anything sort of on a sort of very keeping things light and not getting into anything deep, or forgive me for jumping right in. Thank you for reining me in there. Anything pragmatic we can talk about now today and session. Like I love that little point, and you put on the sailor's hat. Taking moments to consider and think about all the people on the so-called front line who are still fulfilling the jobs to function our world at its most basic. People that are driving our buses and the checkout tills in the supermarket, and the things that are still functioning. Whereas most of us, well, I know I am, are sort of safe in the sanctity of my home and a roof over me, hiding away. Sorry,
it's such a seesaw at the moment, and we're trying to find our balance here. As the administrator of Rishikesh Yogis community, I'm seeing so much solidarity and unity coming through on that platform, with volunteers and people helping to distribute food and all of that sort of thing. But then on the other hand, I'm looking at other videos coming through from the rest of India where policemen are pushing carts of food over into the streets because they don't want these guys pushing their carts next to each other because of social distancing laws, and to see that food being thrown all over the ground is just absolutely devastating. And it really hurts my core, that people are still going hungry all over the world now. And this kind of thing is still happening. Complete waste is happening out there. We're very aware of what essentials we can buy now. So our attention on consumerism is like, how do we purchase? And we've been told to stay indoors, purchase online, or be selective about what we buy. My mom, I said to my mom yesterday, go and get a yoga mat. She couldn't get a yoga mat because it's not an essential. But then the World Health Organization says, stay indoors, do your home practice and yoga indoors. And it's like, how do we find the balance?
Yoga, and although that is a great suggestion of a pragmatic tip of a good habit, yoga, meditation, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still not restarted the habit. I did a little session yesterday for the first time in what felt like a month or two, and it's crazy with meditation that you need to keep doing consistently, whereas if you don't do it for a while, you suddenly take a break and then you do it again. The first time in a while, you realize how much it's been in your life. And like the first sort of 5 minutes, and it was about a 20-30 minute meditation of sitting still and just mindfulness of breathing and whatnot. A couple of minutes were very uneasy feeling for me. So much anxiety was all through me, and I was thinking, I'm fucked. You're like, how can I be living, trying to meditate? But then eventually that subsided. I mean, yeah, and dissipated and whatnot. But anyway, I digress. Good habits that we can do at home. You just said one. Yoga is a good one. Meditation. What else can we do at home? I mean, lots of things.
Yeah,
Actually.
I mean, it's going to go back down to the basics and also back to what we were doing when we were children, playing board games and building puzzles and
Yes, that's another thing.
drawing and, you know, stuff that
Puzzles and board games are what suddenly tweaked my interest. I suddenly want to get a million, but I don't know where to get one. And I have only the one board game, which I'd like to play, but no one to play it with. But I agree. Like, wouldn't it be truly fascinating if suddenly you proverbially flicked the switch and the internet was shut off for across the globe? In this current state, if we didn't have the internet, oh, how would humanity survive then? Well, actually, if we didn't have the internet, I think it would be strange and hectic at first, but you wouldn't have the biggest and most powerful tool that is being used against us for the trial of misinformation and the perpetuation of this confusion and anxiety that's all existing in our heads. You know, if we can, like so much of this is existing in our minds, in every human on the planet. It doesn't matter how important you think you are or how holed up in your bunker you are, how full of supplies you have for the next 10 years of food and drugs and whatever else to keep you holed up in your bunker. Who gives a fuck? You're right. This war is in your mind. Anyway, fuck, I'm sorry. I'm getting Let us keep it positive.
I love the excitement. I love the excitement. And I just want to come back to that point that there will potentially be days of darkness. Okay. It's been put out there that we need to reset something here. Okay. And coming back into our homes and not going out, not using transport, not traveling across borders, all of that kind of thing. We're creating an opportunity for the earth to reset. So I think if it gets to a point where we do go dark and there's no internet for a few days so that you have to reset, then by all means let that happen, because there are things behind the scenes that we don't know. Okay, we don't know what is happening with the deep state. We don't know what's happening with these dark forces. When this kind of thing does happen, we already have to be prepared in that mindfulness and in that awareness that we are whole, that we are covered in whatever light and protection from spirit, God, and source, and that we are not going to allow the fear pandemic to take over. Okay, we have to be prepared for anything.
No, that's. I mean that. Can you hear me? That statement in itself, like almost personally, it kind of. I don't know the feeling, but it's like, oh shit, like I know it's such an to use the overused word, unprecedented time we are in. Yeah, I don't know how to be prepared for anything, and yeah, if anything, I just want to use this as in a positive way to try and work on myself and improve heal myself. And I do think there is great opportunity if you choose to see it. And I think you and I are seeing it and are trying something right here and now in this and in whatever this is we're doing here. But there's room for that to, help each other and heal and get better. I don't know what exactly I'm saying right now. I suppose I'm overloaded in thought and emotion. And I'll tell you what's just happened. Like 15 seconds ago, I've got my iPad in front of me. Imagine it's a larger version of your mobile. And then as you're working on your mobile, you sometimes get the little note that sort of you get like the top little corner, when a new notification comes in, like a new message, email. So I've just received an email response, the owner of said company that I talked about, the email I was going to send yesterday about the director. So while we're chatting,
but that's interesting
here,
because you bringing that up now brings me to another point. If I can interfere with you and interrupt you quickly, sorry. We all had lives before this. You know, everything has come to a flippin' grinding halt, and we have to almost backtrack and think, holy crap, in the last week, I mean, my situation from traveling from India to here has been overwhelmingly completely different to what I expected, because I thought I was coming home to see my daughter and my family who were going to come from different parts of the world, and we're going to enjoy my sister's birthday which is on the 4th of April, my daughter's 21st birthday, which is on the 3rd of April. Now we're doing everything online, okay? And in your instance as well, things that you were dealing with on a personal level, which don't matter anymore, you know?
It's so much.
We don't know if we're even going to go back to the same kind of circumstances or situations, or if people are going to resonate differently. Because if you were in a job or an environment where you were in conflict with somebody before this process, you don't know what's going to happen to that person now. They might come out after reading something like that and be giving you a completely different expectation of what you originally thought the answer to that email would be. You know, you don't know what kind of healing process they have, or you know, if they're confronting their own personal issues throughout this process either, that's going to bring them to a point of forgiveness or accepting guilt or accepting responsibility, because we all are reflecting on the past now. Like, okay, what is the future going to be like?
We should be reflecting on the past, but I don't know if all of us are, if I can be honest. And yes, I should, and well said, we should be. We absolutely fucking should be, because if we want to understand so much about what's going on in the present, we only need past. And I'm not just talking the recent past, I'm talking all levels of the past. And like, the answers all are inside all of us. We're just so indoctrinated and blinded and dumbed down and numbed out and sheeped around, blind. You know, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting too vague again, and I wanted to talk about specifics. I got a question for you. I mean, this is so jumping around. This is why we need specific topics. Anyway, you mentioned about and whatnot. Like, does if you can relate to your story, does it help with you finding your forgiveness inside your heart? If you tell yourself, even though the perpetrator of the abuse, that sits inside you, especially when held, and it was a grown human abusing a little human, an undeveloped human. All right, when this undeveloped human has now grown and is dealing as we are, like, does it help with finding your forgiveness, telling yourself, oh, well, you know what, they didn't know what they were doing, they didn't understand behaviors they were doing, they didn't understand that they were passing on this, and they just didn't know what they were doing? Does that help you find your forgiveness?
I think forgiveness for me, you've got to look at each individual or circumstances, and you've got to evaluate things differently. I have found forgiveness through being compassionate, by understanding, and also by taking responsibility. So you can't just forgive without assessing and going through these different attributes, to actually fulfill the outcome of that forgiveness, to heal yourself in a very honest and much deeper way. Because if you're going to fool yourself and say, oh, I forgave that person, and then you get into a situation which is similar, and then all of a sudden you triggered and you lash out and you think, I thought I dealt with that already. So it takes a long time.
Wow, well said.
So another thing is because I'm a mother now, obviously, but maybe the unforgiveness that I brought from my childhood years into the period of time when my daughter was young, or when I was a young adult, and then into my 30s, You can let that fester, or you can address it throughout the different stages of your life, and actually acknowledge the growth and maturity that you've gone through those periods of time. And when it comes to family, it's very difficult because that you can't choose that. Okay, you actually have to practice it, especially when you're still living with people. You have to practice forgiveness by, first of all, acceptance, and then trying to find out if there is ways to resonate on a better or a different level with the person that you are trying to forgive.
Wow. I suppose you also have to want to forgive, right? I mean, if I'm honest with my own, there's some parts of my past where I don't want to forgive them. So I can tell myself, oh, I forgive them, forget, and all that shit. Oh, well, no, I don't forget. You got to want to forgive someone, right? I mean, you can say anything you want to yourself, but unless that's what you truly, your heart wants, then it's not going to happen.
Unless you've experienced intense trauma and you've pushed that trauma into a part of the brain and you've boxed it or you've compartmentalized it, you can't forget. Okay, unless it's been severe trauma, you won't forget that somebody has shouted at you or undermined you or discriminated against you. There's cultural stuff like that, and then there's also gender-based and discrimination. So there's this huge like cultural forgiveness that you've got to consider as well, you know, and gender-based violence. How do I forgive somebody that I know has caused harm to another woman, for instance? Because as spiritual beings, we're all resonating on a frequency that connects us to a divine source. Okay, so that oneness we don't understand yet unless we're connected with spirit. So as physical third dimensional human beings, if we haven't become aware, we are still carrying this heavy energy around. That's why it is so difficult to continue sharing on platforms like this, most specifically now while we're all indoors and reflecting and contemplating on what our thoughts and what our energy is being projected out there into this huge sphere around the globe, this like collective energy. You know, we've got to forgive that we have been stupid enough to get to this point where we have allowed men, the powers, from the saying that my internet connection is unstable. Okay, that's gone away.
Yeah, okay.
So
carry on.
Collectively, in a global sense, we need to understand that there's a lot of work that we need to do.
I'm just
yeah.
I need to just 1 sec. I need to just put my. I'm gonna try this, charging my iPad through my laptop. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, it's God. Fuck. Sorry, excuse my language. Okay, see. It's weird. It keeps jumping on and off the charge symbol on trying to charge my Apple iPad through my Apple laptop, and it won't bloody do it.
Okay, so I think maybe it is still recording, but while it is still recording and you're faffing there, I'm just gonna say, like, in future, obviously we need to charge all our devices beforehand before we attempt something like this.
I know.
To everybody out there, this is our test run. This is an introduction to myself, Pamela Tosh, IndiPam. I'm currently in Cape Town, South Africa. I've been traveling for the last 6-7 years between South Africa and India. I have learned how to let go and sacrifice and do with less and need and want less on a huge scale. It's been extremely painful. I've gone through intense amounts of suffering. And Charles and I want to bring something very unique and creative and inspiring to the table. Charles, Please tell us about yourself.
Oh, come on, you're putting me on the spot. Shit. What, you want...
I want to know where you are, why you're there, what instrument you play, because I think it's awesome.
Okay, so I'm 38 years young. I was born in 81 in Harare, Zimbabwe. It had just turned from, he claimed ownership back from British, almighty great British Empire, which is another point of this world, how much it's fucked this world. Anyway, I digress. Just taken over from Rhodesia, so it was in a time of huge change, the country itself. And then there's my mother with three, pregnant with number 4, in a highly stressed state. She's anxiety as it is. This is a backdrop to my to a weird person that I am today, and believe me, I am unique. And I grew up in Cape Town, and now I am living in a lovely village of Wolvercote in the Oxfordshire countryside. It's lovely, a bit Oxford posh, but yeah, I mean, we're in the land of the white man. It's comfortable living. Every person here doesn't realize how privileged and lucky they are compared to, you know, the standard of the rest of this world. And I'd like to think I spare consideration for that. And that's what we're doing here, is reaching out to everyone. He got, is in troubled circumstances, having troubled upbringing, and like doesn't know how to talk about it, relate it. Like, I hope. I'm getting ahead of myself. You're not there. This is a long video anyway.
Listen, I want to play something for you quickly. I want to play something
and
for
I'm
you.
on 1%. So I'm on 1%. Go on.
Okay, so I got this message this morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
It says here, the very first corona patient in China explains how he got rid of it. It's truly inspiring. Please listen to it carefully and spread the message to help others. Okay?
Oh, 非常好的，非常好弟弟，谢谢。
Listen,
anyway, whatever.
I love and respect every single human being on this planet. It doesn't matter race, creed, culture, or gender. And I think we must also come back to the understanding that this is just a physical body, all right? And how we perceive each other is an illusion, okay? We have to, in these instances, go back to source and spirit. And I'm encouraging you, when you're sitting behind the screen as well, to resonate with the truth that you can find within yourself if you just sit back and relax and connect, okay? It is information overload, and there's so much that we both want to say. There's so much that we both want to get out there, okay? And putting ourselves behind a computer screen to deliver those messages is pretty overwhelming. I've never done it before. It's daunting, okay? But you and I have had enough conversation out there for us to know that we can banter with one another, we can share the platform with one another, we can respect each other. And I love the fact that it's you as a young person, a creative young man, and myself who has had the most incredible experience. And anything that you're not sure of, you are there to ask the questions, okay? You are there to represent everybody else in the white man's society, but not just the white man's society, but the youth out there as well, who are wondering what future is out there for us. And it pains me because South Africa is already struggling with so much unemployment. These kids are coming out of school.
I don't want to hear this.
Okay. It's hurting me. The kids are coming out of schools and they don't know what to do with themselves. And I'm saying that there's a future out there. We have to tap into source. We have to trust ourselves that each of us is unique. We have the ability to heal on a level that we cannot even comprehend and fathom yet. And I can, okay, it's saying again that my connection is unstable. Okay, hopefully it's better now. And I'm sorry that I'm getting so emotional in delivering this message, but I must impress that, you know, we are not promoting entrepreneurship in this country. And India is so full of potential, and there are parts of this world that are so full of potential. Even here in South Africa, there are volunteer programs, volunteer farms, permaculture, eco-villages popping up all over this world, promoting organic living, farm living, simple living, and we have to go back to basics, okay? We got to start discussing basic stuff.
Okay, can I jump in quick? Right, lovely, I'm all on board. As a beautiful personification of what I'd like, and I was thinking about this morning, like what is the foundation of us, and we talked about it yesterday, and it's personified right now where I'm fucking smack in the face, all right, and I'm speaking to you and my fellow human being when I say the simple message: please, being emotional, express every one of your feelings, every one of your emotions. There's nothing wrong or sinful or anything about any single feeling you feel under the sun, whether it be hot, cold, up, down, left, right, whatever the fucking feeling is. It's just moments, energy and motion, let it go or whatever. Anyway, I'm ranting. I'm sorry. Never apologize. My simple message: never apologize. I mean that with all my love. I do. You know, never say sorry to me, Pamela. All right. So that's my smack in the face. Wake up there. All right.
Okay. So we're gonna extract that now right from our vocabulary. You and I will never say we are sorry for anything we say.
Yes. Yes. Thumbs up. Yes. Good work. This is great idea. Really little messages, and like we this is one thing having video and audio, but we want to engage everyone on possible, especially up in the mind, entertain people, keep them fresh in their minds. Oh, they're listening, then they're looking, and then they're reading, and then they're thinking, and then they're feeling, and things all through the medium of just a video call. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Those are good little signs.
Cool. I just want to really promote creativity, and I want to inspire people to be creative with the ways that they connect to spirit. Yes.
Absolutely. What needs to change in this world? How we've been dumbed down, trying to eradicate the human potentiality, which is so unique to each person, and yeah. But it's the creativity. You're right. Be creative. Let's promote that forever. Like
you shared something with me. We were both sharing last night through WhatsApp messages about childhood traumas that we've been through, and about how it was our instinct to need help. Because as children, who do we look to for help? Okay, our parents. And we're continuously looking for that mother or father figure to replace that if we don't get it in our lives. So for those of us who are in this position where we are feeling at a loss, helpless or hopeless, needing help, okay, I'm saying to you as well, everything you need is in you and around you. And if you need help, reach out to the people that are close to you and ask for it.
I'm so hectic you say that, because like it's touching on it's so your story as well, and I can relate, like about right when you, as a child, when you needed the help the most, was when you were most afraid to ask for it. And that rung so many bells for me, because it's exactly so countless stories when, you know, yeah. Anyway, let's not get into that. That is a big and crucial topic. And thank you for sharing what you do. And that was so powerful. Like, yeah, we're getting into it again.
Okay, should we say goodbye to the listeners and the people that have been watching this
Long
test?
line.
Any
Yes.
last words? Any last words of pure love?
It's still, I'm in the planning phase, and yeah, this is still creating ideas for me, and I need to be more organized when we do this, and have, like, you know, things in front of me, notes that are, because otherwise I can just, you know, jump around as much as this brain jumps around. Like, so it's yeah, I've touched on that. Good talk. It's think about it. We throw back any ideas through today, and there's no reason why we can't do this daily. But I don't a bit of a push, or I don't have going on in my life, and we have enough content to talk about. Even if we limit it to 3 topics per day, we have enough topics to cover, and we have more than enough energy to expend and to impart, and so much to gift humans, which is, yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself.
The Zoom platform gives us an opportunity to invite people to share the panel with us. If there are any topics or related stuff that they want to share, either in the video, or if they want to send us an email, they can.
Getting people.
My email is pamela@indipam.com. So that's an option for them to just use that. We're thinking about a name for ourselves. We kind of trying to define the order of how we're going to present these topics.
It's going to come, and the name is, as you sort of, it spawned from your creativity, but I'm still working on it, and it's along those lines of the, and that's a lovely, that we all need in life. We all do. So smack some sense into you, wake up anyway. Okay, fine. Let's get into this one.
Should I hit the Tibetan singing bowl before we go? Where is it?
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay. Namaste.
Then are we in? But that's
yeah. Bye-bye.